Hi Julia, welcome to the project. Thank you so much for being a part of it. Can you tell us a bit about yourself and your story?
Sure. So I am 37 and I grew up predominantly in Logan City and Woodridge and Kingston, and I lived in probably every suburb out that way before I was in Redlands. I was a Logan kid. I went to Canterbury College for high school, Maple Park for primary school, and a bunch of other schools. And then I joined Defence Force. I was in the Air Force for a few years. I met the love of my life. We've got kids, and the rest is history, really. So that's the start.
So you joined. Why did you want to join the Defence Force?
So there's lots of reasons. At the time, I had a grandmother who had worked in the Air Force herself in the WAF, and those were the days before women were allowed to work full-time in the Air Force. A lot of people don't know this, but especially millennials, they don't know this. This is the history behind what we have today. So my nan, she was a huge inspiration to my life, and she was in the Women's Auxiliary Air Force in Britain. And she, at the time, if you had married, then you were forced to exit. That was it, your career's done. If you found the love of your life and you want to get married, that's it, it's over. So she told me her passion and why she loved being in defence, and how she loved being able to give back to her country and all the exciting things that she did. And that was my real reason initially, and then that sort of grew over the years and became a bit of a passion of, okay, I get it, I can see the value of wanting to give back to my country and wanting to be able to be a role model for others, and so that's where it started. Yeah.
So you met your husband?
Yep.
So he was in the same. How did you meet?
Yeah, so Kevin and I were both Air Force. Kevin was originally an airfield defence guard, and I was a clerk, which I think these days they call administrators or human resources or something like that. So we're always changing defence. We met at recruits, which is so cliche when you know military people. So many people meet at recruits and fall in love, and the rest is history. It's just such a cliche thing to happen, but it really did happen for me. And I'd had other partners previously, and when I met Kevin, it was somebody who was such a good listener, and I needed somebody to really listen to me because I talk a lot. So yeah, that's how I met Kevin. We have so much to be thankful for. So yeah.
So you've got 2 kids?
Yep.
What was it like becoming a mum?
Oh, becoming a mum. I was working full time in the Air Force. Again, in the 80s, women in Australian Air Force, if you had children, you were automatically, that's it, you're out, you're done for, you're a parent now. See you later, your career's over. So fortunately for us these days, that's changed. Our careers went on, but then as a child from the 80s, where women can do anything, and I'm a girl and girls can do anything boys can do. I really went in with this kind of attitude. So having a daughter especially, and a child that she has special needs, so I was just not coping as a full-time parent working in the Air Force and then coming home at night to this screaming baby and going, I was ready to, back to childcare you go. I was happy with that. So so becoming a parent was really challenging, really tricky, trying to balance the whole, this is my career and this is my family, and to get that work-life balance right just did not work for me at the time. So eventually I moved on to reserves. So when I had my son, I asked Kevin to leave the ADF, not the ADF, he was an AGI. I asked him to leave as an AGI and to go and become an Air Force firefighter, which is what he did, so that he had more time at home with us and bit of a better work-life balance for himself. And then I was working reserve days, so that was heaps better for that whole balance. And we posted all over the place and back to Brisbane. So Yeah.
So, how long have you been in the Redlands for?
So Kevin's originally from England. He doesn't tell many people. He was born in Wales. He came out as a child, and when he was 7, and he moved to the Redlands. So he grew up here. And when our daughter was diagnosed with autism, so we kind of fell apart as a family. And to regroup, we decided to go move into this little tiny house on an island off the coast of Redland City that we were never planning on living in. It was just supposed to be this, little investment property, and that was going to be some extra money. And one day we went, you know what, let's go and heal, and let's go back to this little island cottage and try and find some peace and work on our mental health and our family, and get that balance right. So that's what we did. We moved over to Macleay Island. We were there for about 5 years, and we loved it. My kids got to grow up on the beach. They got to pick up all the pebbles, and after school I could take them straight to the beach, and all their play dates were at the beach. It was just beautiful, just that lifestyle of being able to immerse yourself in nature, and the kids it was just perfect for us at the time, and we really found our happy place as a family. And at the same time, we were both rehabilitating defence people, so we wanted to be able to work on our mental health without all the pressures of urban society. So that's what we did. We just regrouped as a family, and Georgia worked on her autism, and we worked with her and got all the professionals involved with that, and we did the same for ourselves as individuals, and worked on our own mental health. And that's where we sort of found our happy place, and were able to come back and find some rehabilitation about ourselves. So we renovated the house, and then we said, what's next? And we had seen this amazing documentary called Horseboy, which is really well known in America. And we got in contact with Horseboy owners, Rupert Isaacson, and we told him, look, we think this is amazing what you guys are doing. How did you do this? How did you get involved? And they emailed us back, which was like a real wow moment for us. We had friends who owned an organic market on Macleay, and they had animals, and we really were inspired by what they were doing, and seeing that they were able to have nature and a job, and be able to be happy, and meet so many different types of people, and be supportive. And we wanted a piece of that. And then we thought, well, let's put together this crazy idea of a bit of a collaborative farm. And the idea grew slowly with Horseboy and our friends. And so we bought a little block of land over here. So we're on nearly 2 acres on the mainland down here at Mount Cotton. And we thought, let's start slowly. But what we've been doing is we've been putting together this idea and working on it over the last 3 years. And now we have a farm full of animals, and you can see it. So yeah, that's what we've got.
So Horses for Health was born.
Yep.
And so what is Horses for Health? How does it work? What do you do? Why are you doing it?
So Horses for Health Redlands is an idea that we came together with a million different things, but what it is it's animal assisted interventions with different providers being able to come and hire the farm space, and they can work out here at the farm, and they don't have to have the cliche office clinical kind of setting where a psychologist might sit in an office and you get the feeling of the 4 walls around you. What we wanted to embrace was animal assistive interventions, which is trending, and the Horseboy method, and we wanted to embrace practitioners and being able to say, you're the professional, you know what you know, we know what we know, and so we just said, let's put together this farm and get these professionals out here and see if we can mix it all together and have a bit of a farm space with animals and the professionals working together. And yeah, So that's what it all came about. But yeah, so it's kicked off. We only opened a couple of months ago, and so far so good. It's becoming a bit of oh my God, Kevin's taking a photo of me. So yeah, it's becoming like a bit of a cool place to hang out, and we're getting some regular people coming in and doing we've got equine assisted learning. That's happening twice a week. We've also got the psychologists from the psych professionals over at Logan Home in Capalaba, and they have a social worker and their psychologists can come out here, and they don't have to just sit in the office. They can go anywhere over the farm. They can hang out with the chooks. They can go in the barn. Basically, it's following your client and where your client would like to sit and where they feel comfortable, and might be with the horses, it might be with the chickens. So that's kind of the idea of just getting out of that whole cliche clinical and immersing yourself in nature and being around animals. So and being really mindful. So that's kind of the whole reason why we were passionate about it, and we knew how much psychologists and mindfulness and all that holistic kind of mental health practice, how helpful it is, and that's what we wanted to share with other people or other families, whether they have autism or they have a child on the spectrum or disabilities, or whether they're just a normal family that is having a bit of a hard time at the moment. They can come down and talk to somebody and get some help, or go have some farm play experiences and just regroup as a family. So that's where this came from, this whole idea, and that's what we're trying to do. But yeah.
And so how are you now?
How am I?
Who are you now?
Oh, who am I? Good question. I'm all over the place, to be honest. I don't believe that anyone has to be one thing. I'm a big believer in maybe not you can do anything. You know, I'm not a rocket scientist. I'm not going to go off and do these things. I mean, it's never going to happen. But I am a big believer in, if you believe that, if you have an invention, go for it. Just try it. If you have an idea and it's a social innovation, bit wacky, go for it. Just try it. Just see. If you don't try, then you're never ever going to know. You're always going to regret it. Whereas at least if you try, you put yourself out there and you say, okay, I can do this, and try and get behind other people, then they'll get behind you. And that's kind of where I am at the moment. If you looked at my LinkedIn, I have inventor and social innovator, and I'm a autism advocate, and I have all these roles. So I'm no longer the administration clerk in the Air Force, but I'm also not just a mum. I just have ideas, and at the moment, at this time, I'm going for it. If I think of a book to write, I write it. If I have an invention, I go and get it patented. I talk to the right people to try and get it manufactured. And so that's me at the moment. I'm a bit of a mishmash of everything, but that's what I believe in. That's what I'm passionate about. Kids don't have to, or people don't have to pigeonhole themselves, and go out and be whatever you want to be.
And what do you love about the Redlands?
I love the Redlands now that I've been here. I love the Bay Islands. I love Peel Island. Having a boat, when we were living on the island, we had a boat and we travelled all through the natural wonders of just our beautiful waterways. And then now that I'm over in Mount Cotton, I get to enjoy the other side of Redlands, which is the bush and a bit of acreage and the winery. And I just love that it's a little bit like me. It's not any one thing. It's a bit of a mishmash of everything. So I love that my kids can grow up here. And I love the people that I've been meeting that are just beautiful, people that all different types of all walks of life, and they're coming together and they're getting behind Kevin and I and our little family and going, you can do it, we believe in you. And that's really special. You don't get that everywhere. So that's kind of who I am, and Brisbane's my home. I don't think we'd move. Kevin and I we've travelled the world, and we actually got married in Scotland in a castle, and we still come back, and we love the Redlands, and we love our home, we love what we're building, and we want to just succeed at sharing it with everybody else. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being a part of the
Thank
project
you.
and telling us your story.
Thanks.
Awesome.